So how about Mike Malone for the Spurs' next head coach?
You are Locked On Spurs, your daily San Antonio Spurs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hey, welcome back to Locked On Spurs. We're doing the Locked On NBA Network. I'm your host, Jeff Garcia, Spurs writer for Ken's Five San Antonio. I'm glad to have y'all back. You guys are the everydayers. We appreciate you coming here to Locked On Spurs each and every single day. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, such as iTunes, Spotify. Hey, there's also the Ken's 5 Plus app, YouTube. Pick a platform. We are there. Locked On Spurs newsletter. It's in the description below. Click on that link. It says LO Spurs newsletter. You click on that, sign up free, or you just go to lockedondaily.com. You see it on your screen right now. So what are we talking about today? We're going to be looking at Mike Malone. Yeah, the shocking news that the Nuggets had parted ways with him, and the timing was off. The timing just felt weird. Like, what is going on? The playoffs are right around the corner, but now that he's available, should the Spurs go look at him? We're also going to give our reactions to it. What is going on in the league with these players and coaching? It just sounds like a big mess right now. They're having with Taylor Jenkins. We're going to be talking about that. And then later on the show, we'll get into your comments, Locked On Spurs fan comments, and so much more. Let's go ahead and bring in our guest. He is Joe Garcia of Area 210 Podcast. Joe, it's like back-to-back hosts. We had yesterday Mike Jimenez review, and we have you. So it's the Area 210 invasion here at Locked On Spurs.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. It's always good to kind of get our schedules to line up so we can talk about some San Antonio Spurs basketball. I think you had Mike on the other day, too. So
yeah.
There you go,
Yeah, Mike was on yesterday, so you're here today. So that means it's the Area 210 invasion. See, your guys are like aliens. Your guys are like 80. Y'all are invading.
Wear a new hat. Every time I come out on the show, I try to wear a new hat.
Well, what's the new hat today?
Just the Spurs, Spurs hat. Oh, and I'm wearing my Spurs. I got my Spurs jacket on here. I don't know if you can see, but
that's nice. Is that one of those authentic ones?
Yeah, kids bought it for me last time we were at a game. My son surprised me. My oldest brought me a jacket. It's what it is, silver and black and all that. So yeah, cool.
Can I have it?
No.
All right. I thought I asked.
They're expensive.
That's why I want it. By the way, Joe, it was good to catch up with you recently at your pad to celebrate your birthday. Did you have a good time?
Yeah, I had a great time. So Mike surprised me too. Mike showed up with his girlfriend, Francesca. So we kind of hung out with all of my friends and just had a good time, dude. It was nice just to spend some time with the gente.
Did you get to enjoy the gift I got you?
No, not yet, dude. I've been so busy working, and then this last weekend I went and I rented a house for me and the kids. So we went out to Rockport and we're just chilling out there for the weekend. So it was a lot of fun, but I haven't been able to really enjoy it yet. But I'm hoping that maybe this week I don't plan on doing anything. So maybe Saturday I can partake of the gift that you gave me.
Yeah, exactly. Well, just be responsible with it, Joe. Just be responsible. Save me a little bit of pour. Save me a little bit. So next time I go to your pad, we have some nice imbibing there. But again, everybody, he is with Area 210 Podcast. Follow him on X at Area 210. He'll talk about the show where you can subscribe to that show in just a few minutes. But let's go and dive into today's topic, and that is the Mike Malone, San Antonio Spurs coaching future. Maybe. Well, let's discuss that in a bit. But my first reaction to what happened was just, again, that was like what? Like, this is happening again. We saw that with Taylor Jenkins. Memphis is in the playoffs, one of the upper tier teams, and then they let go of Jenkins. That was shocking. I think this was more shocking because of who it was, Mike Malone, a guy who's led the Denver Nuggets to an NBA crown, has worked alongside Nikola Jokić, has kept Denver competitive. In just his first season, I believe, in Denver when he was hired, second seed in the playoffs. So he's had a lot of success in Denver. And every team has their ups and downs. Even when Popovich was coaching back in the Big Three era, they had some ups and downs too. It's not always just going to be championship dreams and success. So I was stunned. I figured Denver will let the season ride out, see how they do in the postseason, then make your decision. But it was shocking. Didn't see this coming. I think the entire NBA world even Spurs fans were like, what the WTF is going on in Denver? But it is what it is. I'm surprised, but it also helps the Spurs if they want to go in a different direction. And if Pop doesn't want to come back because of his illness, then that's another viable candidate. Joe, what was your first reaction to the news when Mike Malone got fired?
It was surprising. I was like, why now? The timing is you're on the eve of going to the NBA playoffs, and why would you fire your coach now? I mean, the Denver Nuggets are the former world champions, right?
Yeah.
They won a chip a couple of years ago. So Mike Malone was part of that. Mm-hmm. So now why would you want to go ahead and fire him and clean house and not wait till the offseason?
Yeah.
Of the whole thing just screams to me that maybe there's something else going on behind the scenes, maybe some type of argument or disagreement kind of boiled out there, and it just, you know what, man, at the end of the day, let's just go ahead and do it now.
Yeah. It also didn't help Denver that they're on a losing skid right before the firing happened. That didn't help up. They haven't been looking like the defending champs of years ago of late. It's like they won their chip and then they kind of been faltering. Remember, it was the Spurs a few years ago that ruined their defense of the title. Remember, Denver went to San Antonio, and all Denver had to do was just win that game, and I think they had like locked in a top tier seed or something, and then the Spurs just beat them, and then boom, that was kind of much the unraveling of Denver. So I look at the situation and I'm like, wow, Denver, I mean, it must have been that bad. And reports have been coming out allegedly that Malone and the former GM of the Denver Nuggets were butting heads, from what players to use, what players not to play, why you're running Westbrook more. It should be the young rookie, and I think Denver management just got tired of that bickering and let them go. But it definitely was stunning. Did not expect it. But Joe, you brought up a good point right before we started the show. You want to highlight the players involved in this. Are you kind of suggesting that maybe the players have a little bit too much to say when it comes to, head coaching spots and maybe acting like default GMs?
You could have been, maybe the coaching staff and the players just kind of eye to eye. And when you have your star players, maybe going in there and being very vocal to the front office saying, hey, man, this is just not working. Maybe something happened behind the scenes we're not aware of. Maybe Jokić, kind of said, hey, I want him gone, and there you go. It happened, so we don't know what really is going on. It's just a bunch of, theories that we're coming up with here. But, it could be too, it has to do with what the front office is deciding to do. And it could also be them listening to the players and what the players are wanting as well, because you're seeing, like you said, a team that won chip a couple of years removed, and then look at where they're at right now, and they're barely hanging on to that 7th spot, something like that. So, I mean, that doesn't bode well for them. And as you said, the production has declined quite a bit. So you don't know if it has to do more with the players and the coaching staff, maybe night to eye. Yeah.
Yeah. And again, it's not like Denver was in the play-in. As of this recording, they're 4th in the Western Conference. They're going to get a home court advantage, at least in the first round. But I think it was just too much internal bickering with former GM Calvin Booth.
Yeah.
The 4-game losing skid. Denver hasn't really been playing like many people believe they can. When you have Joker on that team, and he's considered perhaps arguably the best player in the league right now, probably the world, and you're getting a subpar record. I think it's not even that. I mean, they're not. I mean, I get it. 47-32. It's not sub 500, obviously, but it's not like OKC or maybe Houston record or Cavs record. But they were keeping things they were in the thick of things in the West. Again, top 14.
They're tied with Clippers right now at 47-32.
Yes. So they're there. But I just think Denver had probably enough of it. They felt that this team under Malone's direction was going in the wrong direction. But Joe, you're seeing this season a lot of stunning moves. Not just Taylor Jenkins getting let go from Memphis. Now Mike Malone getting let go of Denver. Then you even had the Luka Doncic trade. It seems to me like maybe front offices are just saying like, hey, it doesn't matter if you're a big name coach or a big name player like Luka. if you're not fitting in, you're going to get dealed, or maybe in this case, fired. Your thoughts?
I think what really happens at the end of the day, I mean, it's a lot of factors at play, you know. So the debacle that happened over in Dallas was one of the, you know, that was more of the ownership group wanting to go ahead and move away from Luka because they want to pay him. They felt, hey, we don't want to pay him because his health is in question. You know? So to me, that was dumb. They didn't even get Austin Reeves out of the deal, so they got fleeced. Then you have the firing of Taylor Jenkins here. You know, that again, surprising, you know. So you think, okay, what's happening here? Now you have Mike Malone getting fired too. So something's amiss. You know, is it that the front office wants to move on, or is it that the players are just disgruntled with the leadership in place? You know, it could be one of the two, or it could be a combination of both. But it's also the timing of things. You know, it's like, why do that and why coach and not let them play out the season? Because it takes a lot to go ahead and get ready to play an 82-game season. And then you're just not letting the coaches finish out the season like in years past. And then they're like, okay, we're going to let them finish out. Then at the last game, you know, they come off for the roll. Hey, get your roll papers, man. You got to go, you know.
Gotta go.
And now it's like, you know what? We're just going to cut you right now in the mid of the season, or, you know, right on the eve of, on the cusp of going to the NBA playoff. You're done. You know, that's just weird.
Yeah, here's the other thing, too. I think it looks bad on Denver's part, because here's a guy, Mike Malone, that's guided Denver to their first title a few years ago. You know, has kept them competitive, you know, one of the best records in the league, deep playoff runs. They should have given him an opportunity to at least finish out the season, and to cut him loose the way they did. I mean, he's the winningest coach in Denver franchise history, and you do that to him. That's to me, that's not a good look on the organization. But nevertheless, you know, Mike Malone is now available for a job. Should the Spurs chase him? Should the Spurs look at him if Popovich decides to hang it up? We're going to be discussing that and more coming up next right here on Locked On Spurs with Joe Garcia of Area 210 Podcast. See the name on the screen right now if you're watching on YouTube. Just follow him right there on X at 210 Podcast. But first, I want to talk to you about TurboTax. This is a message from sponsor Intuit TurboTax. Taxes was waiting and wondering and worrying if you're going to get any money back. And then waiting, wondering, and worrying some more. Now Taxes is matching with an TurboTax expert who can do your taxes as soon as today. An expert who gives your taxes their undivided attention as they work on your return while you get real-time updates on their progress so you can focus on your day. An expert who will find you every deduction possible, file every form, every investment, and everything with 100% accuracy. Or you can get that money back, the most money back, guaranteed. No waiting, no wondering, no worries. Now, this is Taxes. Get an expert now at TurboTax.com. Only available with TurboTax Live full service, real-time updates only in iOS mobile app. See guarantee details at TurboTax.com/guarantees. Basketball season is heating up, and there's no better way to get real money action while watching your favorite NBA stars than with Prize Picks. Whether you're a diehard fan or just love some friendly competition, Prize Picks makes it easy and fun to turn your basketball knowledge into cash. Here's how it works. Pick more or less on at least two players for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. Think LeBron's going to drop 30? You think Wemby's going to grab 20 rebounds? Or maybe Luka Jokić is going to get more than 8 assists? Prize Picks lets you make your predictions and put your money where your mouth is in just 60 seconds. Look, you got to use Prize Picks all season long. You'll have a blast. You'll be able to pick players, you know, like from Wembanyama to Devin Vassell to Jeremy Sohan. Pick a player on your favorite Spurs team, and yeah, you'll have some fun with it with using Prize Picks. It's the kind of action that I'm talking about. And with Prize Picks Flex Pay option, even if one of your picks don't hit, well, you can still double your money. Plus, once you hit, you get money fast, sometimes in quick as 15 minutes. And honestly, the best way to keep up with the exciting game of NBA. Now is the perfect time to join. Download the app today. Use code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. That's right. No need to win to get the bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks, run your game.
This is Homer Simpson, and you are listening to my favorite Spurs podcast, Locked on Spurs. Donuts.
And we're back right here on Locked On Spurs with Joe Garcia, Area 210 Podcast. His show is on YouTube, Area 210 Podcast, Monday through Friday. Good guest, good co-host. And I don't know, maybe he's a bad co-host, right? Your co-host kind of sucks, right?
Oh, man. Well, he does say outrageous stuff every now and then.
Yeah. Apparently, he plays basketball with former Spurs, right? That's what he said.
Yeah, man.
And he scored how many points in that game? 8 points, something like that?
I don't even know about that. But his girlfriend has given him the nickname the Embellisher. That's what.
There you go. I totally agree with that. We are talking about what happened with Mike Malone in Denver getting let go just days ago, and that opens up an opportunity for the Spurs to pounce on and bring in an upper tier coach if Pop decides to hang it out. All right, Joe. So with that being said, as we've been saying, and everybody knows right now, Popovich has been sidelined for practically the full season because he suffered a stroke. His future is in question. Will he come back? Will he not come back? Will he retire? What is going on? But for argument's sake, let's just say he decides to say, you know what? I'm done. It's been a good ride. I got myself some championships, Hall of Fame. Yay. Good luck, Spurs. I'm moving on. So that leaves a coaching vacancy. So let's go over some of the obvious right now. All right. So you're going to give Mitch Johnson a look. He's probably on your short list, not because of what he had to deal with and the way he stepped up to the plate, taking over as interim head coach this season. All right. He's on the list. Then you got Taylor Jenkins, guy from Memphis who was let go and has a lot of Spurs ties from the Austin Spurs, winning the championship with the Austin Spurs, serving with the San Antonio Spurs. He has a strong connection to the Spurs. I think he's on the list too. Now Mike Malone enters the picture. Joe, I really believe they should bring him in to chat with him, to talk with him. This is a guy that, again, has mentioned the winningest coach in Denver history, has done so much in a short time in his time with Denver before he was let go. As mentioned, he led the Nuggets to the second seed in the Western Conference in 2018-2019. That was just 3 years later after he got hired. You look at the Nuggets, they've had multiple playoff berths. And more importantly, I think he stresses defense. This is a Spurs system that's lacking right now in that department. Even with Wemby, Joe, we saw sometimes the Spurs sputter on defense. I mean, Wemby can only do so much. Now they got the weapons on defensive end to do it. You got Wemby, you have Steph Castle, you have the agitators, Jeremy Sohan. So the Spurs definitely have the player personnel would fit into Mike Malone's defensive-minded approach. You look at what Denver did during Malone's time there. I got it right here. They ranked in the top half of the league in opponents' points per game since 2018-19, Joe. Defense is number one. The Spurs never had issues with offense this season. They never did. That was not an issue. It was just stopping other teams. Mike Malone can help fix that. Popovich, what does he always preach? Defense. So it just goes hand in hand. What else? You got Mike Malone. He's just heavily influenced by Popovich, praises Popovich. So he respects the Spurs system and respects the foundation that Popovich has laid. So there's that as well. Now, Joe, do you think, and also too, he's still young. I think he's like just in his early 50s too. So, and by the way, he doesn't look like he's in early 50s, Joe. He looks like that job must be really stressful for somebody in that age. Other thing that I want to highlight before I turn the mic over to you, Joe, is this. He's worked with a superstar, Nikola Jokić, a big man. He's allowed Nikola to flourish, and flourish he has. So imagine what he can do for Wemby if he did that for Joker. Obviously, Joker is on the stratosphere right now. Wemby is climbing up there fast. But I think it'll help Wemby for him should the Spurs go with Mike Malone. Joe, for me, he's got to be on the Spurs short list. What are your thoughts?
He's got to, but at the same time, the controversial thing has always been, what is Coach Pop going to do? The coaching staff and the Spurs front office, they're more than likely going to want to go ahead and bring him back if he's able to.
Sure.
But at this juncture, the question should be, should Coach Pop make the decision himself and be like, you know what, maybe me coming back or me being in flux here, not letting people know what my future is a detriment to the team. I think Coach Pop should actually be maybe do the right thing at this point and be like, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and move on. I got to take care of my health, and
Sure.
I'm going to have the vacancy open. You have this whole summer to go out there and interview people. Mike Malone being one of them, and see who's going to take the reins of being the next San Antonio Spurs head coach. If anything was going to happen, now would be the time to do it, and I think Coach Pop just needs to come out right and say, maybe release a statement and be like, hey, like Timmy did. Hey, I'm retiring. That's it. You don't even talk to the media. I'm done. You can go ahead and roll out a video for him at the first game of the season next year. Do something like that. But we just need to hear that closure, I guess, from Coach Pop. That way the Spurs are given that permission to go ahead and officially go out and seek a new head coach. Mike Malone would fit that bill, no doubt. The one thing that I think we kind of overlook is what Mike Malone has done with the rotation over the Nuggets. He's put in a really good rotation that works for the full 48 minutes. Unlike Mitch Johnson here, unlike Coach Popovich here, that liked to get cute with the rotations. That's the one thing that this Spurs team is really missing, is that somebody to solidify those rotations in such a fashion that it's going to give you the most production from this team for the full 48 minutes. And we had yet to see that. Maybe under Mike Malone, he can finally kind of right the ship and go ahead and put his stamp on this team and be like, this is a rotation for the full 48 minutes, starting from the start of the season. And this is who we're going to ride or die with, There you go. Spurs fans know, okay, this is who's going to come out and play for the full 48 minutes. We have our starters. We have our bench players, not just keep on playing with this roster. They've been doing that for 6 seasons, and it hasn't proved any better for them, So I think Mike Malone brings not only culture, but also the rotation that people need here to go ahead and be more productive. So I think he has a lot of good qualities to him, and then you have the other coach as well that got fired, the Grizzlies head coach, Taylor Jenkins. How does he fit with the system? So I think if Coach Pop finally decides to say, hey, I'm going to hang it up, I'm going to retire, he just releases a quick statement, couple of lines, a couple sentences, I'm out. Hey, the Spurs have their opportunity to go and seek out a head coach, and who knows what that might be. But the funny thing is, you have, Taylor Jenkins, you have Mike Malone, and what do the Spurs wind up doing? We're going to stick with Mitch Johnson. How do you think that would bode over well with the San Antonio Spurs fans?
Yeah. It's funny you mentioned that because I think it was pregame versus the Clippers a couple of days ago. Coach Johnson was asked about that and, how fan reception is for him. And he just kind of laughed because they think he knows. He's like, yeah, he goes about that, so, but the point is this, the Spurs are in well position to bring in a good coach next season if they want to go outside the family. Well, not say outside the family, but they want to go away from Mitch Johnson. Two of them right there.
Pop decides to say he wants to move on.
Yeah, right. If Pop decides to say he wants to move on, then the Spurs have themselves 2 opportunities, Malone and Jenkins, to bring in to replace them again. If they push off Mitch Johnson. But here's the thing too. Again, 2023 title for Denver under Malone's leadership. Over 10 seasons, he has a 471, 327 record. Okay, that's above 500. Okay. You're looking at this season again, 4th seed as of right now. So, which brings me to the question, Joe, is this, do you think Popovich, if there's a decision to be made, he has to make it soon, not only just for, the Spurs, to move forward, but there's also, getting ready for next season. There's also the offseason, the draft lottery, free agency. You think if there's going to be a coaching decision made soon, whether Pop comes or not, or they go somewhere else, or they stick with him or not, do you think that's got to happen soon? You think that's got to happen soon?
It has to happen soon. It should have already happened, behind closed doors. And that way they know what direction they're going to go in. Honestly, at this point, when they found out that he had a stroke, that should have been the telltale sign that, what? He's done. You can't come back from that. And I love me some Coach Pop, and I respect the heck out of him. But I've also seen what happens when you go through a stroke. My dad, case in point, has had more than one stroke. He's a diabetic. I've seen him have to go through the rehab and all that to just learn how to walk again, talk again, be able to get some of your motor functions back. It's something that you just can't come back from, especially being at the age that Coach Pop is at. I think Coach Pop, he's pretty much done at this point in my eyes, because I don't understand how you can come back from this and still coach an 82-game season, given that this is going to be something you're going to have to live with the rest of your life. You're going to be prone to it. Once you've had a stroke, you're prone to getting strokes again. And it can be brought upon by stress, So an 82-game season being an NBA head coach, that's a lot of stress. I think he just needs to go ahead and retire and enjoy life with his family. He's done enough. Thank you so much for everything you've done, for putting those 5 chips up there. I appreciate you, man, but it's okay. You can go ahead and ride off into the sunset and enjoy your time away now. I think one of two things is going to happen. Either the Spurs are going to be like, hey, we're going to give you an opportunity to do the right thing and go ahead and resign, make a statement and ride off into the sunset. Either that's going to happen, or the ugly thing that'll happen is that the Spurs will be like, he's no longer the head coach of the San Antonio Spurs. We are going ahead and, going out there and looking to see who's going to be the next head coach, and we're going to be interviewing. That wouldn't go, So I think the best thing to do at this point is to go ahead and have Coach Pop just go out there and be like, release the statement and say, all right, I'm going to, go ahead and ride off in the sunset. Come next season, game 1 of next season, you give him his flowers, put up the video and everything for him,
Yeah, absolutely. And I also think, too, that if you're looking at the Spurs right now, and if they decide to look somewhere, Mike Malone has to be on their short list, has to be there. And look, the Spurs job, I think any coach in the NBA would want. Wemby, Castle, you got Fox. You got a high draft pick if they keep them this upcoming season, or this upcoming summer, I should say. So this is an attractive destination for any head coach in the NBA. Jenkins, Malone, Mitch Johnson, throw them in there. Whoever, Monty Williams, Mike Brown. The Spurs are a destination team for any head coach. But if the Spurs are going to do this rebuild right, and you want to bring in the next heir apparent, the next successor to Popovich, and if it's Mike Malone, I think that's absolutely the coach you want to go with. But nevertheless, we want to hear from you. What do you think about the situation? Should the Spurs go chase Mike Malone if Popovich decides to step away? Let Joe know on X at Area 210 Podcast. Let me know by subscribing to Locked On Spurs over on YouTube and leaving a comment. Speaking of comments, we're going to do that right now. We're going to be looking at some of this fan comments coming up next right here on Locked On Spurs with Joe Garcia of Area 210 Podcast. But first, let's talk about DoorDash.
NBA fans, get ready. They swoosh, you save. Thanks to Dash Pass, every time a player drops 50 or more points in a game, you score a huge deal the next day. It's simple. When a player scores 50 or more in a game during the 24-25 NBA regular season, Dash Pass members get 50% off an order, up to $10 off the next day from noon to midnight. Here's why you should take advantage of this deal. Game day feast. After an epic 50-point performance, celebrate your ordering wings, pizza, burgers from your favorite spot delivered straight to your door. Late night cravings, whether you're staying up late watching highlights or just need a midnight snack, use Dash Pass to grab something delicious while saving big. Hey, what about fueling your own watch party? Planning to catch the next game? Order your go-to snacks and meals at a discount and get ready for more high-scoring action. Lunch on the go? Need a quick and easy lunch the next day? Dash Pass gets your favorite meals with $0 delivery fee, reduced service fees. Plus, now you save even more with this exclusive NBA offer. Sign up for Dash Pass and be ready to save. When any player scores 50 or more in a game, Dash Pass members get 50% off the order the next day. That's $10 off. Use promo code NBA50 from noon to midnight after a 50-point game on eligible orders at participating merchants. Must have an active Dash Pass account. Terms apply. Visit DoorDash to learn more.
As the new leader of the Decepticons, I command you to subscribe to Locked On Spurs with Jeff Garcia.
And we're back right here on Locked On Spurs with Joe Garcia of Area 210 Podcast. Follow him on X at Area 210 Podcast. But now it's your turn. It's you guys, Locked On Spurs fans, your comments. You guys are leaving a bunch of them. Let's pick 2 and let's dive right in. All right. The first comment, Joe, comes from Mark G. I'm not going to say the last part because I'll get bleeped, But it's from Mark G.A. Bleep 5684.
Oh, God.
Yeah. He says, quote, next season's record for the Spurs will be 50-32. Party festival emojis connected to his comment there. You think that's pie in the sky, Joe? You think next season's this Spurs team can get 50 wins at minimum?
Absolutely not. Not with the squad that they have right now. I mean, they can go ahead and probably flirt with maybe 42 to 42 wins, 43 wins. But 50? No, man, that ain't going to happen. Not with the squad they have out there. You have somebody who's this team still can't shoot from beyond the arc consistently, right? Even though they have 1,000 threes, how many attempts did it take them to get to that 1,000 threes? And the second thing is defense. They still lack that defensive intensity for the full 48 minutes. And they can't knock down a consistent jumper either. They go cold for stretches. So until you can go ahead and fix those, I guess, faux pas with the team, they're still going to go ahead and be like, all right, you're going to run back the same team, the same squad, expect the same results. You're going to have Wemby. You're going to have Fox on the team. Maybe good for 10 more wins. That's about it. I'm just being realistic. I'm not trying to go ahead and be the Grinch here.
Does the draft change anything for you, Joe?
You see, the thing with the draft is Spurs fans get enamored with the draft, but when you go to the draft to go ahead and grow your team, all you're doing is putting more inexperience out there on the court, it's great to go ahead and have that talent. Don't get me wrong. But the one thing that you're missing on this team to go ahead and really take you to the next level is veterans out there. You have a lot of guys. You just have guys at the end of the day that you're surrounding your star players with that really can't do much. You need 3-point specialists out there. Isn't that what happens nowadays in today's NBA? You have to shoot a really good number from beyond the arc to be competitive. Spurs can't do that, man. They need to go ahead and get some veterans, and they don't need to go after superstars. You need to go get specialists. Remember, like back in the day, Jeff, we had 3-point specialists here on the San
Dale Ellis. Remember Dale Ellis?
Dale Ellis, Chuck Person, the rifleman. You had Bruce Bowen that could knock down a corner three. I mean, come on. That's basically what you need. You need those pieces that can go ahead and give you that production. And right now we've seen over the course of the last 6 seasons, this ain't it, man.
This ain't it,
Everyone's scratching their head. Hey, we're 6 seasons, been losing. Expect the same results next year.
Yeah, I projected with Jimenez a couple of days ago that this team will get low 40s to middle 40 wins. So like 45, 46 on the low end, maybe 40, 41. So they could be knocking on the door, but we'll see. We'll see. Maybe free agency changes everything. I think that's the key right there. If they can bring in a power player in free agency or even a trade, there's rumblings about Kevin Durant. I mean, I think then 50 is attainable. But as you mentioned, if they stick with the roster right now, then no. Joe, let's go to move on to our next. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to tell you, look at this, Jeff. And Spurs fans, this is not a very popular opinion. But if you compare Kevin Durant to Devin Vassell and you look at their stats, you can see that at his age right now, Kevin Durant is a more consistent player than Devin Vassell. If you say you don't want Kevin Durant on this team, there's something wrong with you. Where's the line?
Look at Joe. Joe throwing out some shots at the fan base right there. At least some fans that are saying no to Kevin Durant. All right. Next comment is from, by the way, I love this name too. Laser Squid 95. That should be like the name of an Adult Swim cartoon. Laser Squid 95.
Laser Squid.
Yeah. Laser Squid's comment is, quote, goal is to be in the play-in tournament. He's talking about next season. Joe, do you think next season this team at minimum has to make the play-in tournament?
Here's the catch-22 with that. They could possibly make the play-in, no doubt. Mm-hmm. But how far do you really think they're going to get? It's Spurs fans, they have these delusions of grandeur, right? Hey, the Spurs are going to make the play-in. They're going to win. They're going to move on, and they're going to officially be in the playoffs. The play-in might be the pinnacle for them, and then they get absolutely blasted, and they show you guys that there's still much to be desired. That's probably what's going to happen, and that's how it's going to play out. Even with Fox, even with Wemby on this team, you're going to tell me that this is going to be good enough to compete with the other teams in the West? I don't think so, man. I think the Spurs are still behind the times when it comes to the talent level. And that's not a knock on the team. That just means that they have to do better in the offseason. So they can flirt with the play-in, no doubt. They might make it, sure. But are they going to move on? Probably not. Just being honest.
You're right. I'm okay if they make the play-in to get curb stomped. I'm okay with that. I'd rather them get a taste of competitive action than no competitive action. I mean, I don't want to see them get curb stomped, but if that happens, okay, but hey, at least you got a taste of what it needs to happen, young Spurs squad, to move forward. So I'm okay with that. But I do agree with you, Joe. I think it has to be at minimum play-in, and the cards are stacking up right for them. There's rumblings that Sabonis and DeMar DeRozan may not be wanting Sacramento. May not want to stay in Sacramento, so you might see Sacramento take a rebuild step. Pelicans, where they're going. The list goes on and on. Who knows what's going to happen with the Clippers? Do they blow that up? So you just don't know. So that there could be positioning right now for the Spurs to take a leap into the play-in. But yeah, I agree with you. I think team now, enough of the player development. Team development now means this team needs to move on and go beyond just one and done, another bad season. They got to get into the play-in tournament at minimum. And it doesn't take too much. It's still about mid-40s, that range to get into the play-in tournament in the West. I mean, look what's going on right now. You got teams with 45, 46, 47 wins, and they're still in the play-in. So, again, it's not that much of a leap. Hopefully the Spurs would do that. He is Joe Garcia of Area 210 Podcast. Make sure to follow him on X at Area 210 Podcast right now. Joe, tell everybody how they can subscribe to your show.
Yeah, they can go ahead and follow us on the Alamo City Sportscast Network. We're on YouTube, and that's where we're going to go ahead and put our shows that are going to be coming up here shortly. And also, you can go ahead and check out the Area 210 Podcast, which we do Monday through Friday. We go on about 10 o'clock every morning, all the way up to about 11:30 with our host here, Mike Jimenez. And I kind of run things behind the scenes. I'm the co-host of the show, so to speak. I'm the producer. So, yeah, go ahead and, take a look at our show and make sure you subscribe, like, share, and interact, because we do have a lot of comments coming in. Almost every single show.
That for sure.
Easily over 100 comments. I have a hard time trying to keep up with all the comments. I try to show every single one that I can, but it's a good problem to have. It's a good problem.
Exactly. Joe, I didn't want to alarm you, but I thought I saw Wemby above your head right now wearing a sombrero. Wemby might be in your house right now. There he goes. He's gone now. Yeah, he's gone. Wemby's gone now.
That was the Los logo back there.
That was the Los logo. There you go. There's MCS. Yeah, but I just want to let you know I just want you to know there is an alien in your house. There he is again. There he is. He looks like he's already in the fiesta mood, though.
Yeah, he is, dude. I gotta send you the merch, dude, so you can go ahead and support that as well. And I gotta go ahead and send you a new hat, man. I gotta say, I want to get you.
Yeah, that's Bob.
I don't know if I want to get you a Spurs. I don't know if I want to get you a Spurs hat, or do we get you a Area 210 hat, or do we go ahead and get you a Lowe's hat? I think I'd like that.
Yeah, or maybe merge the two. How's that? That'd be fun.
We can do that. Mashup. Okay.
Mashup. There you go. Hey, well, it's been a mashup here in Locked On Spurs the past 2 days. You today, Area 210. Yesterday, Jimenez, Area 210. So there's a good matchup right there. All right, Joe, thank you for taking time out of your schedule to join us here on Locked On Spurs. Again, follow him on X at Area 210 Podcast. Everybody else, we thank y'all for being the everydayers. You guys help this show go. We appreciate it. And also subscribe to Locked On Spurs or get your favorite podcast. iTunes, Spotify, Ken 5 Plus app, YouTube. Check us out at the Locked On Spurs YouTube page. Please go subscribe. Locked On Spurs newsletter is in the description below. Click on that link. It says LO Spurs newsletter. Or just go to LockedOnDaily.com. Subscribe to not just Locked On Spurs newsletter, but the whole crew of Locked On NBA shows right now. We'll be back tomorrow talking all things silver and black. I believe we might have TC Vieira up to finish up this week right here on Los. But for Joe Garcia, I am Jeff Garcia. We're going to put a lock in this episode of Locked On Spurs.